The hidden reason avoidance always return to the same empath. The hidden reason avoidance return to the same empath isn't love the way most people understand it. It's nervous system familiarity. Avoidants don't run from connection because they don't feel. They run because they feel too much and don't know how to regulate it. When they meet an empath, something powerful happens. The empath sees them. Not just the charming surface, not just the independence mask, but the quiet wounds underneath. And for someone who learned early in life that closeness equals danger, being deeply seen creates both safety and terror at the same time. So they pull away. They convince themselves it was too intense, too needy, too overwhelming. But what they're really escaping is emotional exposure. Yet here's the twist. The empath becomes psychologically imprinted on them. Not because the empath chased, not because the empath begged, but because the empath activated something no one else could. Secure attachment potential. Avoidants can date other people. They can distract themselves. They can immerse in work, hobbies, even rebound relationships. But most of those connections feel surface level. Calm, maybe. Easy, maybe. But not transformative. The empath, on the other hand, disrupted them. The empath challenged their defenses without trying to control them. And that disruption lingers. Avoidants are wired to value autonomy, but autonomy without emotional depth eventually feels empty. And when that emptiness creeps in, late at night, during quiet drives, during moments of stress, they don't miss just a person. They miss the regulation the empath provided. Empaths unconsciously co-regulate. They soften tension. They offer emotional language. They absorb chaos and respond with understanding. For someone avoidant, that feels like oxygen. But oxygen can also feel suffocating when you're not used to breathing deeply. So they leave to regain control. Yet distance doesn't erase attachment. It intensifies unfinished emotional loops. Avoidants often return not because they suddenly changed, but because the empath represents unfinished emotional business. The empath became the only person who made them confront vulnerability. And vulnerability, even when scary, is addictive when it's authentic. There's another hidden layer too. Ego stability. Empaths love in a way that feels unconditional. They try to understand rather than attack. For avoidants who secretly fear inadequacy, that kind of acceptance creates a rare sense of being enough. When they step away and experience relationships that are transactional or emotionally shallow, they start comparing. Not consciously at first, but slowly. They remember how safe it felt to be imperfect around the empath. They remember the patience, the emotional depth, the way conversations went beyond logistics into meaning. And most importantly, they remember who they almost became in that relationship. Avoidants don't just return to the empath. They return to the version of themselves that felt more connected, more open, more alive. But here's the painful part. Returning doesn't automatically mean growth. Many avoidants circle back when they feel lonely, dysregulated, or destabilized. The empath feels like home, and home is comforting when the outside world feels uncertain. However, unless the avoidant has consciously worked on their attachment wounds, unless they've learned emotional regulation, accountability, and communication, the cycle repeats. Because the real issue was never incompatibility. It was fear of emotional dependency. Avoidants often mistake dependency for weakness. They equate needing someone with losing themselves. But what they experienced with the empath wasn't dependency. It was interdependence, a healthy exchange of emotional presence. The reason they return is simple yet complex. The empath touched their attachment injury, and attachment injuries don't forget the person who first brought them to the surface. The empath becomes symbolic, not just of love, but of healing potential. And healing potential is magnetic, even when it scares them. So if you're the empath in this dynamic, understand this clearly. Their return is not proof that you were not enough. It's proof that you were impactful. You represented depth in a world where they learned to survive on distance. But impact alone doesn't build stability. If they come back, the question isn't, do they miss me? The real question is, have they grown? Because familiarity can pull someone back, but only growth can keep them. And that is the hidden reason avoidants return to the same empath. Not because they want chaos, not because they enjoy the push-pull, but because deep down, their nervous system recognizes where real connection lived. The tragedy is that recognition without transformation just restarts the story. The power is knowing you were never forgettable. You were the mirror they couldn't ignore.